Como.
The Cars series has been a real hit for Pixar, but fans have been waiting patiently for Cars 4 to hit the screens, with no luck so far. In these movies, we follow Lightning McQueen, the chatty race car voiced by Owen Wilson, who finds himself stranded in a dusty town and has to do some community service before he can zoom off. Surprisingly, he ends up warming up to the town and its quirky inhabitants, learning a thing or two about humility along the way. While Cars didn't get as many rave reviews as some other Pixar classics like Toy Story or Monsters, Inc., it still revved up a lot of success, boasting a top-notch cast that even included the legendary Paul Newman. Since the last installment hit theaters, fans have been revving up their engines for another go-round with Lightning and the gang. Cars 3 back in 2017 was seen as a step in the right direction for the series, a bit more mature than its predecessor and dealing with some deeper themes. And let's not forget about all the spin-offs from short films to video games and even the Planes movies. Lightning McQueen and his crew have definitely left their mark on the box office, pulling in over $1 billion worldwide, and don't even get me started on the mountain of merchandise sales. We're talking multiple billions here, no kidding. As for the cast, the lineup for Cars 4 hasn't been officially announced yet, but we can take some educated guesses based on who's been in previous films. It's pretty much a sure bet that Owen Wilson will be back as the voice of Lightning McQueen. He's been the heart and soul of the franchise so far, and it's likely we'll hear Larry the Cable Guy returning as Mater, Lightning's trusty friend. In fact, Larry himself expressed his willingness to jump back into the Cars world if another movie came along in an interview back in 2020. He said something like, "Hey, I'm all ears. If there's news about Cars 4, just give me a shout, and I'll ring up Owen. We're all trying to figure out what's next." It was a blast working on those films. You'd think with $1 billion theme park, they'd keep the engine running, right? But hey, who knows for sure. So while nothing's set in stone, it's looking promising for a reunion with our favorite animated car crew. Adding Cristela Alonso back into the mix as Cruz Ramirez for Cars 4 would definitely be a smart move. In Cars 3, there were hints that Lightning McQueen might be passing the torch to Cruz, setting her up as the future of the franchise. But as of now, there hasn't been any word from Alonso about reprising her role for the next installment. Beyond Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy, it's a bit of a mystery who else might come back for another round in the Cars universe. But here's hoping we see Cruz back on track alongside Lightning and Mater for some adventures. As for the storyline for Cars 4 remains a big question mark, but it's likely that Cruz Ramirez would take center stage once again. In Cars 3, we saw her stepping up from Lightning McQueen's trainer to potentially becoming the new face of racing, hinting at a passing of the torch scenario. Producers Kevin Rear and Andrea Warren even hinted at this possibility, suggesting that Cruz could play a significant role in any future installment if she continued to resonate with audiences, which she definitely did. There have been indications from the Cars team that the franchise might shift focus away from Lightning McQueen. Director Brian Fee mentioned in a 2017 interview that he wasn't certain about the future of the series and whether it would continue to revolve around McQueen or explore other characters more deeply. So while we don't have concrete details yet, it seems like Cars 4 could be steering in a new direction with Cruz Ramirez leading the way. But as for the specifics of the plot, we'll just have to wait and see what Pixar has in store for us. Now let's talk about villains Cars 4 should bring back. Reintroducing the delinquent road hazards as key villains in Cars 4 would be a fantastic nod to the series' origins. These characters hold a special place in fans' hearts, and bringing them back would evoke a sense of nostalgia while injecting fresh excitement into the franchise. Boost, DJ, Wingo, and Snot Rod, also known as the Tuner Gang, boasted some of the most captivating designs in the entire Cars universe, with their vibrant underglows and distinct appearances. Despite their brief appearance in the first movie, they played a pivotal role in driving the plot forward. Expanding their roles in Cars 4 could elevate them to iconic status within the Pixar world. Imagine the potential for deeper character development and more dynamic interactions with Lightning McQueen and the gang. Their comeback after 2 decades would add weight to their presence, making their return all the more impactful. Plus, from a marketing perspective, their unique designs and quirky personalities make them prime candidates for merchandise and spin-off opportunities. The delinquent road hazards comprising Snotrod, DJ, Wingo, and Boost truly stand out as some of the most distinctive characters in the Cars series. Unlike other villains in the franchise who tend to be arrogant racers or over-the-top caricatures, the Tuner Gang brings a sense of realism to the world of Cars. While characters like Chick Hicks and Jackson Storm may cheat and boast, the Tuner Gang's antics are more grounded, resembling the actions of actual criminals within this animated universe. Compared to Professor Z or Sir Miles Axelrod, who could be considered forgettable or over-the-top respectively, the delinquent road hazards leave a lasting impression with their brief but impactful appearances. From nearly causing Mac to fall asleep on the highway to their speeding antics, they exhibit behavior that mirrors real-world criminal activity, albeit in a comedic and lighthearted manner. Despite their past misdeeds being relatively minor, their coordination suggests a potential for more significant troublemaking, adding depth to their characters. Bringing back the Tuner Gang for Cars 4 could inject some much-needed excitement into the franchise, with a likelihood of racing and spy storylines taking a backseat in the sequel. Reintroducing the delinquent road hazards to Radiator Springs offers a fresh, captivating concept to explore. Since the gang's arrest in the first film, their return could spark a new conflict as they seek revenge, potentially stirring up chaos and mischief in the town, thus uniting its residents in response. This narrative twist could breathe new life into the series and provide a compelling storyline for the original cast to reunite around. By maintaining existing character dynamics and introducing more understandable motives for the antagonists, Cars 4 could deliver a more engaging and coherent narrative. The Tuner Gang's involvement could also shine a spotlight on characters like Sheriff, who could take on a central role in thwarting the Outlaws' plans and restoring order to Radiator Springs once again. Utilizing DJ's music and Snotrod's unique abilities would further showcase the gang's distinctiveness and establish them as formidable adversaries. We would love to see these villains, but as of now, Cars 4 finds itself at a pivotal moment in Pixar's trajectory, where the studio's approach to sequels is being closely scrutinized. Recent releases like Lightyear, despite being based on beloved characters from the Toy Story universe, didn't quite hit the mark at the box office, raising questions about the viability of continuing established franchises. This underperformance might make Pixar and Disney reassess their stance on revisiting existing IPs, including the Cars series. However, amidst this uncertainty, there are signs that sequels are still very much on the table. Pixar has Toy Story 5 and Inside Out 2 in the pipeline, suggesting a willingness to explore familiar worlds further. Additionally, Disney's commitment to sequels like Zootopia 2 and Frozen 3 further underscores the potential for continuation within established franchises. The success or failure of these upcoming releases will likely influence the fate of Cars 4. It's worth noting that while Lightyear was marketed as an original concept, its ties to the Toy Story universe were undeniable. Its lukewarm reception raises questions about the assumption that anything tied to a popular franchise is guaranteed success. In contrast, Pixar's recent original offerings like Soul and Luca have been met with critical acclaim, signaling a possible shift towards prioritizing truly original storytelling over franchise extensions. Well, that's it for today. Would you like to see the return of the Tuner Gang as the main antagonists? Or do you have other ideas in mind? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you at the next one.